Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is the TimeWizard here. I'm here with my post-Philadelphia Regional recap. Uh, the Philadelphia Regionals was November 23rd. It was like a week ago. Just haven't gotten around to doing the recap. But I thought I'd let you guys know how I did, what I played, some of my matchups, and then I'll have a deck list at the very end. So if you just want to see the deck list, just go ahead and skip to the end. But for my matchups for the day, I start off. I played Harpies. Had the game pretty much under. Oh, I should really tell you what I'm playing. I was playing Gravekeepers. I was gonna play my Battling Boxers, but it was a little bit of a meta call, I guess. Not really. It just helps against like dragons, which are just rampant right now. But yeah, it was a little more of a control deck. Battling Boxers, I still haven't perfected just yet. But I'm very close to getting a build that I'm very comfortable with that has a lot of optimal plays to it. So hopefully there will be another deck profile for that soon. But Gravekeepers. So my first matchup, I played against Harpies, and I had that game pretty much under control. I took the first one by going into Malefic Cyber End Dragon, using his own field spell, and just that 4K wall just. He really couldn't do anything against that. He did misplay quite a bit. He didn't seem like he really fully understood how to play Harpies. I think he was playing more than one Harpies Pet Dragon, which is a little odd since you only really need one. But game 2, he ended up winning that. And then because he played 6 cents and I rolled him a 6, so I just scooped. I'm just like, you have too much hand advantage, there's no way. Should have probably played it out. There was enough time left in the round. So, and then game 3, he played Icarus Attack. I wasn't aware of, though, when you go Icarus Attack, the monster is technically already destroyed. And I tried chaining Compulse. A judge came over, ruled it in his favor, which was fine. I just didn't know. That was probably that was my fault not knowing that ruling. But instead of changing the target, he's like, you can still use Compulse or you can just reset it. Instead of just compulsing my Cyber End that was on the field, when he Icarus attacked, he blew up his field spell and something else. Instead of compulsing the Cyber End back to my hand, which would have been a much better play, since I do run 2, I just decided to leave the Compulse sit as a defensive play, and ultimately that move lost me the game, because if I would have added it back, the Cyber End back to my hand, next turn when he played his other field spell, I just would have been able to beat him over. And plus I had Necro Valley in the hand, even if he didn't decide to play his field spell, so did lose on that technicality. Then game 2 I played Dragoonity Dragons. I was a little annoyed with this guy. He was one of those people that just sits there, just starts moving cards around, doesn't really say, do you have a response for that? Do you want to chain something? I just started doing his thing. He went Ducks, Phalanx, Vajrayana, that usual play, make first turn Stardust. I think game 1 I stunned him with the Necro Valley. He just couldn't get Ravine to his hand. Then game 2 it was just Ravine over my Necro Valley constantly, and it just I lost it because of that. And then I was a little annoyed. I had a set Torrential, and I had Necro Valley on the field, and he was trying to set up his grave full of dragons, and I didn't want him to put another Vajrayana in the graveyard, but he went Ducks, Phalanx, and then just like put it in the spell and trap zone, and then just send it to the grave. And I'm like, whoa, hold up, can you take that play back? And I'm like, all right, continue with your play. He did the same thing. I'm like, okay, like you have to special summon it. I'm like, whenever you special summon it, Torrential. And like he looked at me, and I'm like, you have to special summon it in order to sync with it to make Vajrayana. Like, I don't know, like, he was just annoyed that I like caught him on like something that people probably wouldn't call him out on, because he's just moving so quick. But it was a little annoying against that, but I ultimately lost because of more or less Ravine over Necro Valley, and that was just crap. So, game 3 I got a bye. My opponent just didn't show up. Round 4, I think I played either Insectors or Bujin. I forget which one came first, but Insectors, Necro Valley just shuts down that whole deck. every time he got Hornet to the graveyard, just couldn't do anything with it, couldn't pop it, couldn't get an MST to hand. I did miss playing that game once, which almost cost me the second game, which I think I 2-0'd him, but I had a Master Key Beetle and a Recruiter up on the field, and I ran into his Mirror Force. Recruiter, of course, dies. I get the search, and I added Commandant. And I said, is it cool if I just send Commandant and grab Necro Valley right away? Me being the scrub I am, I forgot. You can only do that in main phase. So pretty much what I was telling him was, I'm done with my battle phase. I'm going to main phase 2. So there was a little confusion, and it completely went over my head thinking about that. So a judge was called over, and I understood what I did. So there was no problem there, but did cost me the game because Master Key Beetle just running through. He couldn't. People don't understand still that Mirror Force doesn't end the battle phase. That's negate attack. Mirror Force just destroys everything. So if I'm playing Lead Yoke or Mace Stroke, I only have to detach unless they negate that effect. The attack still goes through. So people need to understand that a little bit better. But onto the Bujin match. It was a great match. Ultimately, we went into time for the third game, and I opened my hand with Cyber and Spy and Royal Tribute. So I set everything, special summoned the Cyber on my first turn, and just went Royal Tribute. I know that's such a dirty play, but it won me the match. His whole hand just went to the graveyard, and I don't even know what he drew into. He just scooped, and he was pretty salty, but I don't blame him. I probably would be too, but that card right there saved my ass. So then let's see what happened. I think I went on to play Spellbooks. Another great match. The guy was very nice. His tower, though, kept going over my valley, so it was a little annoying. It did slow down his fate, but he knew his shit. The guy was very generous because we only got into 2 games because both our moves had to be thought out really well before we made them. And I forget what happened. We went into time. The judge came over. We didn't even get to start the third round. And it was going to go down as a tie, but he had gotten a text message right before the end, and he's like, oh, I have to leave. My buddy needs a ride home. And I sort of felt bad that he couldn't really stay to finish the game out, but he convinced the judge to give me the win and just let me move on to improve my record. Because oddly enough, he also played Gravekeepers as another one of his decks, and we both got talking. And he was a great guy. If he sees this video, once again, I really appreciate you giving me the win. But we actually did end up playing the third game, and I think he won by a few life points. It was very close, but it's nice to know that there are decent people in Yu-Gi-Oh! Still. Yu-Gi-Oh! People aren't really known as being the best or friendliest competitive players, so it is nice to know that there are generous people out there like that. After that, I got another bye, and then I got all the way to round 8, played Dragons. I think it was straight Dragons this time, and just couldn't do anything against him. First turn in game 1, he went double Draco Sack, just had the nuts. And then game 2, I opened pretty decently. If it was any other deck, I probably would have won that game, but Dragons, they're just too explosive. They just have so much power behind them. Even with Valley on the field, he just had answers for it. He always had Ravine in his hand, which sucked. So, again, the Malefic Stardust would have been nice to have to counter that, but I just didn't run it. So, I ultimately lost. I went 5-3 or X3. Didn't even bother playing the 9th round, but overall, it was a good day. I should have a video up pretty soon, just random recordings of the day. Didn't really see anyone there too important. Frazier was there again, judging. Guy from my locals was judging, and that just I think topped 8 last time when we were there in October. Bunch of guys from my locals did really well. So overall, it was a good day. Met some good people. Made some alright trades, but pretty mellow day. Wish I would have done better, but that's the best I've ever done in all the regionals I've ever been to. I think that was my 4th one, so I'm pretty happy. Can't complain about that. Just next time, shooting to improve from the last record. So on to the deck list. Hope you guys enjoy it. See ya. Okay, guys, here's the deck list. So I ran triple Spy, triple Descendant. Some people opt out for 2, but I preferred the 3. It just added more consistency. It was just another Gravekeeper card to keep the flow going. So it worked out fine. Triple Recruiter, of course. Triple Commandant. And then the final Gravekeeper, 1 Assailant. Still always just good at 1. I guess could eventually be cut with the new Gravekeeper support, but I'll have to see, have to feel out how the new deck works. Then the tech monster choices, 2 Malefic Siren Dragons. A lot of people did not expect this. It was just a giant beat stick that came out of nowhere, and it won me quite a few games. I'm really happy I bumped it up to 2, but at the same time, I really would have liked to have the Malefic Stardust Dragon that I usually run as the other Malefic, because there was a couple times where my field spell kept getting destroyed by them just playing a new one like Ravine or Harpy's Hunting Ground. So probably will adjust that next time, but since the format's going to be changing soon, I'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, it would have been nice to have the Malefic Stardust. And then 1 Breaker. Usually side this out, but it was just another card for popping. It was a 19 beater to run into like Thunder King if people did get a hold of something like that. Just a nice beat stick. Not many people sort of expected that either, but could probably be cut from the deck. The 1-ofs, the Book of Moon, the Dark Hole, the Royal Tribute. It's unfortunate this went to 1, but it is a broken card. It did win me 1 game just alone and by itself. The guy's hand just disappeared once I played it, so it makes sense that it's at 1, but it'd be cool if it was back at 2. 2 MST, 2 Stel, triple Duality for consistency, and then triple Valley. So nothing special there. Onto the trap lineup. Triple Fiendish Chain. I was playing this at 2 before. I wasn't too big of a fan of this card, but I bumped it up to 3 on a recommendation, and I'm glad I did. It helped me win a lot of games. It just slowed people down, stopped their plays. I was worried more or less that people would start overlaying with stuff just to get around it. But that wasn't really too much of the case. Like I said, it just more or less just slowed their plays down and just helped me stall them out until I got my monsters. So it worked out very nicely at 3. Sort of a tech choice, 2 Black Horns of Heaven. This card put in a lot of work, surprisingly. With how the game is going now, where special summoning is almost mandatory for every deck, this was just like a 2nd and 3rd solemn warning. It just saved my ass so many times. I had Cyber End out, and they went for the Big Eye play, and I just flipped this. And then the one game I was playing Dragoonity Dragons, the guy who went through his Dux Phalanx play, went into Vajrayana, Phalanx again, and then went their first turn Stardust, so I just negated that. Really helped out. 2 D-Prison, pretty standard, and then the 1-ofs, 1 Compulse, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Bottomless, and 1 Torrential. So that was the main deck. I think it was 41. I forget what card went in. It might have been Breaker, but it was sort of nice just to have the extra 1 card. Helped with siding a little bit. Onto the extra deck. 1 Zen Mains. It will happen that you will go into Recruiter saved my ass, I think, against spellbooks. They had Priestess out, and they just had nothing else, and that was just their wall, and I just ran into it, then popped it during the end phase, and he just said he scooped, he didn't draw into anything, and that just won me the game right there. So that's good. One Nightmare, never saw any play, but still a great card. I made a video about this, so go check that out. Still a great card to have on hand. One Dweller, never made that at all. Honestly, with Gravekeepers, you don't really go into the extra deck all that much, so a lot of these cards I didn't use. So, one Pappy helped me out, won me a game. I think they set a max C, and I just went into this and then just Cyber End, just blew through. It was so good. Maystroke, I think I made it once or twice. Cowboy, helped finish like 1 or 2 games. Black Ship, went into this quite often. Just help with random stuff. That 1000 burn's so good. Diamond Dire, I do believe I made that at least once. To pop a Fiendish Chain maybe off my Cyber End. Utopia, never made it. Ray, never made it. Crazy Box, he's in here for Eradicate Virus. That's all he is, a target for that. And if they did decide to play like Skill Drain or something, I don't even know why it'd be against their benefit to do that against me, since I have the Cyber End in there, but whatever. One Key Beetle, MVP right there, just always wanted him to protect Valley, protect other cards, just so good. One Ouroboros, never made him, just moment never arrives, and then 2 targets for the Cyber Ends, so they put in some work for me. Let's see, onto the side deck. 1 Thunder King, 2 Fossil Dyna. Those are the only monsters I really sided in. I sided Fossil Dyna in quite often, but rarely ever saw him. And when I did, I pretty much had the game under control, and I didn't really need to play him. Thunder King helped in the Spellbook matchup. Otherwise, you didn't really see too much play. Then the spells, 1 MST. I always like to run the 3rd MST in my side if I'm not running all 3 in the main. It's just preference. Sometimes you need the extra destruction. 1 Field Barrier. I was maining this before, but decided to side it instead. Comes back to the Malefic Cyber. Sorry, not Malefic Cyber. Malefic Stardust. Does the same thing, but I felt Malefic Stardust would be too easy to run over, so I ultimately cut it. But I might be putting it back in. For the traps, only got 1 of the Virus, of course. Oh, and 1 Dust Tornado to help in case they were playing other field spells, any other problematic stuff such as Shadow Imprisoning, anything like that. And then the other traps, 2 Goes and Match, everything's dark in here. 2 Imperial Wall, because dragons still can banish from the hand while I Valley out in the field. And it just puts more restriction on them, because if they do get rid of Valley with like Ravine, they still have to deal with that. 2 Light Imprisoning for agents, just pretty much anything. Bujin. I forget what I really sided those in for purposely. I know I did it once or twice. I can't remember the matchup, but I know I did make use of them. And then 2 Mind Crush. I think I got it off like once when I did get it to my hand, just because there's just so much searching now, and you pretty much know what your opponent's hand is. So that's it. Deck performed alright. Wish I did better during the day, but whatever. But if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and I will see you next time.